Amongst the audience are members of the New Zealand Broadcasting Unit with a portable recording outfit to make records of the concert under far from ideal recording conditions. We are able to hear these same voices. An ancient Maori chant, karu, is heard.
Rough history of the lodge is that Dick and Robin Fraser of Cromwell and Queenstown, a couple hours from here, came up to the Makarara area when it was really incredibly underdeveloped, which it still largely is, but and built a small lodge where they could fly guests into the Makarara Valley here, station them in this location, and then fly them out to various backcountry airstrips in Mount Aspiring and other areas around this location. So that was probably late 70s, and it was a relatively primitive structure that we now live in. And then the lodge grew in popularity through Dick's relationships with American fly fishing luminaries and fly fishing shows in the 80s and 90s, and big like Somerset and stuff like that, or California fly fishing shows. And people came over, and in the mid 80s they built this structure that we're in now, a 4-room pretty basic lodge with just the perfect number of guests in my mind in terms of moving them with 1 or 2 helicopters. And then lodge has been busy through Dick's career, and as his guests kind of started to get age, and he did as well, I think he found it was ready to sell, and we came here in 2012, I think 2013 as guests, and Dick and us developed a relationship, and that sale happened pretty quickly within a year. So probably took ownership technically in 2013 and started at 2014. What's unique about the lodge and the fisheries is the location for me. On the border of the west and east coast, and on the border of Mount Aspiring National Park, gives us quick access to so many different varied fisheries, but also really great fisheries. And as New Zealand develops, just more people. I'll say that, whether that's a good or a bad, or a stress on the environment or a stress on the fishery. I think we're still in a really great location here that's away from people, and you're still able to find that solitude more often than not both in the Mount Aspiring National Park, the West Coast, the Kauai Conservation Area. All those areas that we have access to in such quick order with a helicopter are still real New Zealand gems, and the environment that you're in is still pretty pristine. And so I think that's one of the keys. And then the other unique aspect of Cedar Lodge is that when you're here, you're all inclusive. Everything that you're going to need is here, including flights. So we don't a la carte the flights. We don't say this is how much it is to stay here, and this is how much helicopter time you used this week. No matter where we go, whether it's the West Coast or it's across the river here or it's to the East Coast, it's all part of your package. And how do we make the decision to determine where you go is kind of based on the most water we can find rested, or the best opportunity to catch a fish. So it's not a consideration of how far we're going to fly or how short we're going to fly. It's just a consideration of how the best fishing. So all other New Zealand lodges that I know of are going to give you a separate helicopter bill associated with your stay. And so I found that to be fantastic, and I think it's always been that way here, and we plan on keeping it that way.
Mama